Hey guys, this is Armageddon X. This video has two topics. One is the future of this channel. I did the whole vote thing on the Armageddon X main, and the common consensus is that they want me coming back to the one channel, and since I'm not worried about getting partnership, it doesn't seem possible, that will work out. The other thing I wanted to talk about is something totally wild and amazing, and it's probably the title of this video. Proving the existence of God. I see so many different people posting stuff about this, whether you can or can't, or all these proof theorems and stuff like that. Let me kind of point out four different aspects of the reality that we find ourselves in. I should mention that if you're not interested in a proof for God or a little talk about the afterlife, I would recommend ending the video at this point. Okay, those four different rules that we find for ourselves is entropy, which basically means that things get less ordered over time. If you have something that makes one thing ordered, another thing must become unordered. The next rule is that stuff exists. There is existence. There is tangible reality. The next is there's causality. That means that everything that is and everything that happens has a cause. There's other implications of this, but that's the one I'm dealing with. The next one is the speed of light. The speed of light is always the same. And actually I'm going to add another one now that I think about it. It's the 50% rule, which basically means in any true unknown, a yes or no question has a 50% chance of being yes or a 50% chance of being no. But that's only if it is a true unknown. This will come into play a little bit later. Okay, so let me take these, let's just take these four rules for now, and I'm going to put them into a realm, which includes this as a rule set. So this is just a kind of depiction of that. We have our realm universe here, which is what I consider our realm, and that realm is defined as everything that follows this rule set of entropy, stuff exists, causality, and speed of light, like I was talking about before. The problem exists that since we have stuff in existence, and we also have the rule of causality, then the stuff that we have has to have been caused. And then you wonder, okay, what caused the stuff that caused that, etc., etc. It goes back into infinity, and infinity doesn't explain away causality. Instead, we have to find a way for something to exist outside of the rule for causality that created our universe that does adhere to the rule of causality. Essentially, a lot of people call that God, and then they add into it their own little personal blend of what they think that God is. They usually put human emotions on it, etc., etc., whereas in reality it's mostly a true unknown. Moving to that. So let me just go over the causality again to kind of give you an idea. So the whole question is, okay, well, God created the universe. Who created God? Okay, a bigger God created our God. Who created the bigger God? It goes on and on like that. Basically, the only way for this to exist, as some people have mentioned, but they explain it for their God, is that God is somehow timeless. It somehow doesn't follow the rules of causality. And yes, that sort of has to exist. There has to be something that exists outside of the law of causality that created our universe. That is, if this rule set is correct, if all four of these things are correct, then absolutely there has to be something that exists out of causality that created our universe. So, that is a proof for God. Now, just as a side note, the afterlife, once again, that kind of gets a little sketchy. It would be nice if we could use the 50% rule right here. In other words, we would be able to predict that it was a 50% chance that there was an afterlife. However, we don't know if the realm that created our universe, which we always give a human face for some reason, if it adheres to the 50% rule. Therefore, sadly, we can know nothing about even the percentage of chance of there being an afterlife. So that all depends on the intentions. The way that we'll have to solve this someday is communicate with Realm Kappa, if that's the one that does it, and say, by the way, did you plan an afterlife for us when we die? 'Cause we're wondering if we should cure death yet or not. Thanks. Talk to you guys another time.